Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Side Podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and we're coming to you straight away, of course, after the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup semi-final that just ended between Tottenham Hotspur and Brentford at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, ending 2-0. Like, share, comment on this video, of course. Subscribe to the channel, most importantly, enable notifications to receive all the updates of these match recaps and all the other content on this channel, including the podcast tomorrow. Of course, listen to it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any other platform. Follow me on social media, I'm at PSP, Pitchside Pod on Twitter, Instagram, respectively. And let's crack on with the match. And it was predictable. Tottenham defeated Brentford, and that was, really what should have happened, but it shouldn't happen that way. Obviously, Mourinho started with the, pretty much the first team. Højbjerg against Sissoko, Son, Kane and Moura and what have you, and Don Bailey. He gave it, the attention that it needs, despite the fact that some teams consider it as a lesser trophy than the FA Cup or the Premier League. He gave it all the importance, starting the proper starting lineup, and playing the proper style that Mourinho plays, which is barking the boss. He had the first good 10 minutes where Tottenham seemed to be the ones who will set the tone of the play and set the tone of the game and dominate and what have you, but it wasn't. It was the other way around. Brentford started dominating, started playing good balls behind the defenders, behind the fullbacks in particular. I thought Tottenham shouldn't have parked the boss, really. Yes, they scored a goal early by Moses Sissoko, of course, the brilliant cross from Reguilon, by the way. But then they parked the boss in a time where they shouldn't. I mean, Brentford are not that great of a team. They're a decent team, third in the Championship, doing really, really well at the moment under Frank Thomas, but I think they will never really hit the highs that you'd expect. So why Tottenham were not driven more to score like 2 or 3 other goals past them and just settle the game in the second half, or give themselves a break in the second half? I don't know why they make it hard for themselves and make it nervous in the second half, because Brentford had a couple of chances. Really, they had an equaliser in the second half that was chalked off by VAR for tightest of offsides. Really, the guy was the attacker of Brentford was down on his knees pretty much, and he was saved by Tottenham was saved by the fact that his knee was a little bit in an offside position as well as his hands. So overall, this was Jose Mourinho doing Jose Mourinho things, parking the boss, defending, making it tight on Brentford, although Brentford didn't really do much to disrupt the flow of the game. Now please Tottenham, please Mourinho, just drive the boss already. I am sick and tired, and I'm sure a lot of football fans are sick and tired of this style of play. But as long as it's effective, and as long as it's bringing points and bringing victories and bringing potentially trophies, depending on what's going to happen, really, I think whoever's going to be facing Tottenham in the final, I reckon it's going to give advantage to Mourinho, because whomever they're going to be facing, whether it will be City or United, it will give them advantage, because both guys and of course the coaches, I mean Guardiola and Solskjaer, and both teams like to play proper football. To a lesser extent Man United, because they rely on the counters a little bit when they are stuck in some situations, but this is Mourinho's motto at the moment: just park the boss, play the counter and be deadly on it. And that's what happened. The second goal, 70 minutes, the game was over, the game was up, and you didn't need a lot to do about after that. Brentford, played for a while, they had a little bit of possession, it couldn't be effective. It was the usual stuff of Tottenham, really, taking the lead with 1 goal or 2 goals at max, and then just sitting at the back and enjoying the other team getting possession without knowing what they do with it. And certainly the late sending off with the silver, the red card, I think it was a little bit harsh. I don't think that he wanted to do Højbjerg like that in the tackle, but I think quite frankly, it was a bit harsh of a red card towards the Brentford player. But I think well deserved, but again, just slightly harsh, depending on because surely his intention was not to go that high on Højbjerg. Again, from the 70 minutes onward, the goal scored by Son game was really over, and Mourinho didn't need to exhaust himself. He took off Reguilon, he brought on Davis, he brought on Harry Winks, and he brought on Carlos Vinicius by the end of the game, and he had the opportunity to sort of rest his big guns. He only kept Kane on the pitch by the end. So, in my opinion, this was a typical Mourinho game, a predictable Mourinho game. Again, against a side like Brentford, you probably didn't expect him to park the bus, but you know that this is Mourinho, and he's going to be doing it against pretty much any side that plays against them. And we saw it in the Premier League this season. They did it almost against all the clubs that they played against. I don't remember a match where they seemed in possession. The only match where they seemed in possession, in my opinion, was against Leicester, and they lost that match. So you don't expect a change of style from Tottenham. They got the win and they got the job done. Again, as long as it's effective, it doesn't need to be pretty, and I'm sure that Mourinho will be more than happy to take the victory and to go into the final without headaches, without problems really. Hopefully Højbjerg is fine enough to play in the next couple of games in the league, which are going to be crucial for Spurs. For Brentford, commandable performance. They came out and they played their football. They played well. I reckon they deserved at least something out of this game. But when you're facing a side in Mourinho's Tottenham that defend well and know how to hit you on the counter and can really make a lot of things out of a half a chance, pretty much. You don't enjoy. You don't get to enjoy a lot of domination really in that game, and you cannot really rest on your laurels in that game. That's it. Congratulations, Tottenham. Hard luck for Brentford really in the next couple of months in the season, of course, in the Championship. As they trying to get promoted once again for Tottenham. They go to the final. Mourinho is in his first final now with Tottenham. His first chance to get a trophy with Tottenham. Should he be doing it, I think it's going to be very important in his transition at the club, and that is going to give him another boost and give the board another reason to continue and trust his very important process and project with the club. Like, share, comment on this video. Of course, what do you think of that game? What do you think of Tottenham's way of play? What do you think of their win? Pretty much. Subscribe to the channel, most importantly. Enable notifications to receive all the updates from this channel, the match recaps and the podcast and other content on this channel. SubUSP, you find me there on Twitter, PageSidePod on Instagram. Listen to the podcast tomorrow on Spotify, Google Podcasts or any other platform. Always your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and you will see me soon. Goodbye.